Hi everyone, alongside Mike Trossel, I'm Dave Giancola. Thanks for joining us in our USGA studios for another US Open Classic finish. For the second straight year, Tom Lehman held at least a share of the 54-hole US Open lead. It was 1996 at Oakland Hills up in Michigan where Lehman led the ultimate underdog Steve Jones by one, but behind them was a tightly packed group of a who's who, including Davis Love III, Ernie Els, Jim Furyk, and Colin Montgomery. Playing in the final group together, Lehman increased his lead to 2 over Jones at the turn.
Dave, before we join this classic finish, let's add some context to this improbable story of Steve Jones, really what makes the US Open great. One of the more promising young stars on the PGA Tour, but he missed 3 years of action due to shoulder and ankle injuries due to a dirt bike accident. Jones had to go through sectional qualifying just to play in this US Open and was looking to become the first sectional qualifier to win the US Open since Jerry Pate 20 years earlier.
Speaking of birdie, Steve Jones' attempt. Yes! Jones stays in contention.
Making those putts, clutch putts.
He's now 3 under, 1 behind Lehman. So the pressure is immediate for the man from Minnesota, from the lanky Jones.
It could be a 2-shot swinger here.
Well, what was a 2-shot lead could now be a tie ball game, and he has labored the last 3 holes. This uphill, inside the hole on the left. A little tentative again with the putter and lost it just right. Starting to struggle.
How quickly, Roger, the complexion change. Lehman and Jones now tied at 3 under. Birdies for Jones at 9 and 10.
Well, as easy as that front 9 seemed for Tom Lehman, the back 9 could be much tougher because the pressure is mounting and the holes are going to get tougher.
Now Noblo is only 1 behind the leaders.
But this is his 3rd shot, Dick. Well done. He will putt up to the hole location for a par to 17.
This moments ago, Greg Norman at 17 for a par. I never even hit the hole. Well, I'm afraid that, as they say, you could put a fork in him, he's done. As far as winning, let's go to 11T.
399 yards. Steve Jones, after 8 straight pars, a birdie at 9, a birdie at 10, is now tied for the championship.
Tee shot up the right side, turning back to the center. Playing beautifully right now.
And Roger, I think you could count the number of guys that have won a US Open drawing the ball in one hand. So if he does, it'd be rare indeed. Hooks in the US Open are not best of friends.
Johnny, I was going to mention, you see that graphic? 10 of 10 greens hit in regulation.
And only missed 1 fairway.
Yeah, he's good stuff. Little pressure right now, Roger, on this man. I think he was looking clear of the field. All of a sudden, it's tied.
Going with the 3-wood here. Got this going a little left, maybe in the left rough.
Roger stays in the fairway.
One of the most unlikely of US Open contenders beginning the week, Steve Jones, with a chance for the big prize.
I was a little frustrated at points when I wasn't able to play. I mean, anytime you take a couple years off, and I kept re-injuring my finger and wasn't sure I was going to play again, so that was a little frustrating, but I just had to be patient and just say, well, if my finger ever gets well enough, then I'll play again. And that's the only way I looked at it, and I took advantage of the time at home with the kids and my wife and just had a good time there. After my 3-year layoff, it would be just an extra bonus to be able to win the Open. Obviously, it'd be the thrill of a lifetime. And I'd have to credit some of that to the Hogan book I read this week. He really inspired me to work harder on my game and take it more seriously, and obviously he won here in 51, and it's kind of inspired me this week.
Going back to the great Ben Hogan and his famous win, 1951. Reading about Hogan has inspired Steve Jones.
And actually, that Hogan book is rather controversial because it's not always positive Hogan, so.
Up on the green at 11, this for par for Frank Nobilo. No. Ahead to 13.
For birdie, Ernie Els. That opportunity hurts. 16.
Dan Forsman, 37 years old. Second shot to 16. Little left, but it's not going to be too bad. You may not be happy with that, but that's certainly if you miss, it's the right place to put it. Coming off a birdie at 15. Get to 1 over, so he's got a chance here to get to even. Certainly no way he's out of the championship at this point.
Jim Furyk, another one of those making a charge. 2 birdies in a row to get to even for the championship. Here at 13, again, 175 yards. That's a 5-iron by Furyk. A lot of club. He wants to get it there, and he does. Just above the hole. It'll be a little quick moving back down to 18. And the walk up, Greg Norman. About 15 feet above the hole for his birdie. He's even today, but came out charging and sent a bolt of electricity through these entire grounds.
He got the even par for the championship on number 7 with his birdie there, but lost 3 shots from there to 18.
Bob.
Tom Lehman.
7-iron from 164 uphill and right to left. At the very left side of the green, needs a bounce.
He got it on the putting surface.
Steve Jones now has 130 yards. Just a perfect drive. He has played, if unspectacularly, very steadily to this point. Really just has not made much in the way of mistakes. And just waited for that putter to wake up. And it just may have.
A good birdie opportunity here. This is like a little tiny funnel green. If you hit it right, it kicks left. You hit it left, it kicks right. If you can get the right distance, you almost can't be more than 12 feet. I don't think it's even possible to be more than 12 feet if you get the right distance.
Yes, I'm in there. Just a little left of the hole.
Well, that's 11 greens played, 11 greens hit for Steve Jones. And at 12, the par 5, third shot, Davis Love. Davis is at 1 under, just birdied 11. Will it? Oh, it just stayed up. They head to 16.
Forsman, Dan Forsman, this to get back to even par for the championship. But he'll move a little to his right. Got it a little far out. Well, everybody's playing more break here on that putt than there is. So, going into the back nine, Steve Jones and Tom Lehman will be tested today because they have a chance to win the first major championship of their lives, as does Davis Love, Frank Nobilo. What a tournament.
Welcome back to Oakland Hills Country Club. The leaders face the final 5 holes. As tough a final test as there is in golf. Lehman and Jones tied 3 under. Here at 13, Jim Furyk birdie attempt to get within 2 of the leaders. close. Good putt coming down the slope there, but Furyk will par and remain at even. Back to 11.
Birdie attempt, Steve Jones. This is for the lead. Lehman missed his birdie attempt. And at 12, birdie attempt, Davis Love. Get there. Love to 2 under on the championship. One back of the co-leaders. Now Steve Jones for par. He stays at 3 under, tied with Tom Lehman, 1 ahead of Davis Love. Now also at the 12th birdie attempt for Cullen Montgomery, stands at even on the championship. Yes, Cullen Montgomery moves to red numbers. He becomes one of the 5 players under par at 1 under. Actually, with that birdie by Cullen Montgomery, now 6 players under par. But this Oakland Hills golf course begins to take on the backside. Now second shot, Frank Nobilo.
Pretty risky play here, Trump. 265 to the front. Caught nipped the edge of the tree. Took a lot off it. May just catch the right side of the fairway.
Well, he's rolling down in the...
Well, now he makes the 3rd shot. Really tough coming in here.
Yeah, he's in the intermediate rough, just in front of the bunkers. Dan's hole, this 12th, 560 yards from an elevated tee down here to the valley. Let's move ahead to 18.
This on tape for birdie. And another miss to the left, and for his par. Shark with a 70. Was within 1 after 36 holes.
Steve Jones off the tee at 12th. Rogers head on line.
Right in the middle. Might be able to give it a shot from there, too. Might be able to go in 2.
Let's move ahead to 13.
Davis Love the third, getting ready to tee off. You can see what his 2 straight birdies have put him. Just 1 off the leaders, Jones and Lehman. And Gary, it took a long time figuring out which club he wanted to use here.
Well, he did, Dan. There's a little bit of wind coming across from right to left, really not hurting at all. And I believe Davis has taken a 7-iron, which it's going to be a big one to get it all the way up on top, but I think that's the smart club, because if anything, you want to be short here. Well, he shot it way up in the air. I don't think it's going to get all the way to the top level.
Not even close. It'll fall back down in the bowl. Next up, Colin Montgomery. Before he hits, let's go to 12.
Tom Lehman's tee shot. Cuts the fairway at this 560-yard par 5.
Colin Montgomery, 2 off the lead after the birdie at 12.
Dan, he's taken a 6-iron. This yardage fits this club much better for him.
See if Monty gets it back there.
Oh, that's a good-looking shot. Slightly right of the flag.
An aggressive play in the rough. And that green works quickly from back to front. But Davis Love III has moved to within a shot of Jones and Lehman.
Welcome back to Oakland Hills. Of course, was remodeled in 1950. Robert Trent Jones added many of those bunkers. Let's go to 12 and Frank Nobilo.
Yeah, over some bunkers. Frank Nobilo, 3rd shot. intermediate rough. Can he stop it? Just to the back fringe on the 12th green. And let's move to 13.
You saw Colin Montgomery. Have you had a chance to check out his lie in the rough, Gary?
Well, I have, Dan, and it's not good, but it could have been a whole lot worse. The problem is the position. I mean, he's going to have to pitch the ball probably into the intermediate cut of rough and just hope it kills some of the speed off of it, because once it gets onto the green, it is just straight downhill.
Gary, could he knock this inside 5 feet?
John, I guess it's possible, but I mean, under these circumstances right now, with your nerves jumping a little bit, if he does, it'll be one of the better shots I've seen this week.
Well, you can see he's given it a lot of thought.
Well, it's interesting. His caddy's actually pointing that maybe he should go well to the right and try to utilize the slope in the green to soften the shot. It's an interesting idea. I'm still not sure it'll work.
He'd throw it out to the right and then just let it trickle left, huh?
Yeah, I think that's what the caddy's pointing out to him. I'm not sure Colin's sure what he's going to do. I know he'd like to have the tee shot over.
It's a way that does not pay to be aggressive. At 13, you want to get it back to that hole location, but if you go too far, you're faced with a situation like Monty has.
And you see how many players are in double digits over par. Almost, I'd say probably half the field are in double digits.
Type of shot you have to be careful you don't get too cute with.
It's going to move.
That's gone.
It seems like we've seen that shot, Gary, just time and time again. Guys try to slide it under and it jumps out like a flyer, and that's rolled up against that primary cut.
Not an easy two-putt from there either to 12.
And the birdie attempt of Frank Novolo from the fringe. Just a little bit short. So he'll make his par 5. 12 is the easiest hole here on the backside. But a par 5.
Look at the leaderboard. Bob Trumpy with the Jones and Lehman in the same competitive pair. 3 under for the championship, and Davis Love 1 back, and plenty of others with holes to play with a chance. Let's go down to John Schroeder.
Thanks, Dick. Greg, close again. You played a wonderful round of golf, and it was just a matter of inches, it seemed like to me.
Yeah, that's the way the game goes, you know. I mean, it was going to go your way. You're going to get that 2 inches either way in your favor. And, yeah, like the shot I hit into 17, you know, if it's going your way, it probably rolls up there and then comes back down. Yeah, those type of things. That's a game of golf, and I gave it my best try and came up empty.
Steve Jones and Tom Lehman are tied 3 under with 9 holes, with 7 holes to go. Who do you think has the upper hand, if any?
Well, I think probably Davis Love does right now at 2 under. I think he's probably got the upper hand because those two guys will be looking at each other, and Davis can just get along. I think the finishing holes suit him because he doesn't have to go ripping a driver to get there. Holes like 18, he'd probably have to hit 3-wood off there, which is going to make it hitting into the widest part of the fairway, whereas the other guys have got to worry about driving through that fairway on the angle. So right now, I'd put the upper hand in Davis's favor because for those reasons, and he's ahead of those guys. He's a couple ahead of them, so it's going to be interesting.
Thanks for stopping by. Good luck the rest of the year. Dick, back to you.
All right, John, and you saw Tom Lehman.
That was his second shot on the par 5, a pretty darn good shot, but it just shot over the green and might be up near the lip. Not a very good break. Steve Jones also going for it, Roger.
Steve going with the 3-wood, got it just right of the hole. I don't know if this will get up.
Nope.
That's in the front right bunker.
Well, you'll see. Maybe a little luck comes into play here. Lehman hit a very fine shot going right at it and just shot off that bank that you're looking at right now. Let's see what happens.
Meanwhile, back to the par 3 9th. Check that, the 13th. Colin Montgomery.
This his par attempt.
Uh-oh.
And back down the slope for a bogey attempt.
On tape a few moments ago, John Morse for birdie at the 12th. that on tape, and he moves to 2 under par on the championship, 1 back of the co-leaders, and now to 13.
And Davis Love coming back up the slope for birdie. That's a pretty good effort. Below the hole for his par to remain at 2 under. He'll have that. The ever-changing leaderboard, Jones and Lehman at 3 under. You just saw John Morse get to within a shot, and now Monty for bogey. And just like that, that for double.
You get above these greens or in the backs when the pins are back, and you're pretty much done. You just have to mitigate a bogey, maybe a 15-foot par putt, but he had a very poor pitch shot out of that primary rough to miss the green all the way on the other side.
From 1 under to +1 for Colin Montgomery, still looking for his first major championship. Now Davis Love, who played the more conservative iron off the tee, left it below even though it was well short, ran it up for 2, and now has this left for par. To remain a shot off the lead. But he's about ready to enter the fearsome final 5. It begins at 14.
Yeah, all thoughts of birdies just about are gone now. It's possible 14's not a birdie hole, but 15, 16, if you play it right, has got a shot. But 17 and 18, you're just hanging on. If you can play those holes even par, really the person that can play those holes even par coming in, whether it be Jones, Lehman, Love, Morse, even Nobilo, might be the winner.
Speaking of Morse, here he is on the tee at 13.
Danny's going with a 7-iron, which isn't enough club to get him back there, but I think he's just trying to play it short of it into the middle of the green. He's got it going right at it, but I think it's got to get up.
That'll fall back as well, but the more I see players play 13, it's not bad going back down in there.
Dan, I think he was just trying to hit it right there. He was perfectly happy right there.
To 12.
Third shot, Steve Jones. Roger, assess this bunker shot.
Not too bad. A long bunker shot, but it is slightly uphill, and the green is uphill as well, so.
Hard to get it there, Roger.
Hard to get it there, but boy, it's not a bad spot to keep it underneath, just like that, John.
Good shot. He looks good, Roger. He looks pretty relaxed and like, hey, I can do this.
Well, he just hasn't shown any weakness yet. He's played very, very well to this point.
Of course, you know, a lot of times it doesn't show up till 15, 16, 17, in there.
This is 13.
And Frank Nobilo.
It looks like Frank's going with a 6-iron. He doesn't have to get much of this. Wants to get it back there. He's got it going just right of the flag. The wind hits it. Looks like it may get up.
It's up. Out of the primary rough, but slippery from back there to 12.
And Roger, this bunker shot by Tom Lehman looks a lot more difficult.
Well, it's really ended up in a tough spot. He went with the driver from the fairway for his second shot. Just pasted it, hit a great shot. You're right. But it's gotten into this back corner, and now he's considering whether he can play at the hole or not. Got a downhill lie, the green one's away from him. He's now looking to the right, away from the hole, just so that he can keep this ball on the green and have a putt at it, albeit a side hill putt from maybe 25, 30 feet. That really seems to be the best play he has at the moment.
Well, let's see if we can illustrate this situation here and see exactly what he's got there. It's on the downslope there, and he's probably going to try to land it in here and work it right over to this area because the green's too short here. If he hits it here, it'll run all the way off the green. Might even be going farther right than that. I don't know. conservative play. Did he have to aim that far right, Roger?
I still think that was the smart play, John. I really do. Otherwise, he risks leaving it in the bunker if he tries to get cute going the other way. And, you know, at this point in time, he doesn't want to make a mistake that silly.
214.
Longest par 4 on the course, 471 yards. And Davis Love ranked second behind Tiger Woods in driving distance after the 3 rounds of this championship, has bombed one down 14. Good hole to catch one. As you take a look at the beginning of the fearsome fivesome, beginning at 14, which is played the 4th toughest. A little bit of a break at 15, but anything can happen at 16 with the water, and then 17 tough, 18 the toughest. And how the leaders have played them, Davis Love has been the most successful through 3 rounds.
Well, that might bode him well in the next hour and a half.
And back to 12.
All right, Dan Hicks, thank you. It's Tom Lehman now. He's there in regulation. He's there in 3. Roger, read this putt for us.
Well, he'll have to come up over a rise immediately in front of his ball, and then it would be working away and to his right. Not an easy putt by any stretch of the imagination, but I think he showed great discipline and patience in playing this bunker shot this way.
A little short on a lot of putts, Roger.
He has been today. He has not hit anything very far past the hole at all with the putter.
213.
Frank Nobilo. Dan Pohl.
One difficult little chip here. Just got it lofted just over the intermediate cut. Just hope it trickles. Pick up pace right about here. This is a great looking shot.
That is a beautiful pace. Nobilo with that left for his par to remain 2 back of the leaders. Back to 12.
And the par attempt of Tom Lehman, 37-year-old Tom Lehman.
Well, this is a big putt for Tom. If he made 6 here, that would be unnerving after playing 2 really wonderful shots from the tee, and then his second here. This is not an easy putt at all. Slippery little putt moving to the right. Well, that's got to hurt.
You believe 6 after those first 2 shots, Roger?
Well, luck plays a big part of this game, and he got a bad deal when his second shot got into that corner of the bunker. Anywhere else, and he would have had a reasonable shot at certainly birdie, and just a bad break at this point in time.
That's smart.
Well, gentlemen, for the first time today, someone other than Tom Lehman holds the lead. And if Steve Jones makes this, he leads by 2. 213.
John Morse coming back up the hill for birdie.
John has played a really solid round of golf today. Only missed 2 greens, and this will be the tester right here.
You want to leave it below the hole, but not that far below.
It's hard to imagine watching Frank's ball come down the hill, how slow it is going back up the hill, and you just can't get yourself to hit it hard enough.
Guy's playing a great open for a guy that's never made the cut in a major. It's quite a graduation. It'd be like going from kindergarten to a doctorate degree in one fell swoop.
Well, a great example, Johnny, is how he was playing within himself on 12. He came over and said, I just hit a 3-wood off the tee. He says, I know I can't get to the green. Played a second shot down there 100 yards, put it in there 8 feet and makes birdie. So he's playing within himself, knows what he's capable of doing out here on the golf course.
Morse 2 back. Has yet to make bogey today, needs this to stay 2 back. slips back to 1 under. Now at 14, second shot for Davis Love, the third, after bombing the drive. 7-iron from 177.
Must be a good one.
Asking for it to be the club, and it is. Difficult to get close to 14 from that front right edge hole location. There is Steve Jones, the leader by himself. A 2-shot lead over Davis Love III and Tom Lehman. Yardage again at 13, 175.
Well, he has won a national title. I played with him the first 2 rounds in Canada when he won the Canadian Open in '89, and I was very impressed with him then, prior to his injury, of course. But with his 4 wins on tour, counting that one, solid player prior to the injury, and he looks very good, especially with the flat stick. He was always known for really a good putter and sort of a streaky player, and he's in one of those streaks right now.
Well, this is 7-iron, looking to get the ball underneath the hole and left. Got it going left of the hole. Looks like it needs to get down.
Will it come back? It'll stay there. It'll be quick from there, but at least he's not in the heavy, thick rough.
First green he's missed.
Dan, is that a real tough spot there? He can handle that, can't he? Just trickle it out
Yeah,
there?
he should be able to.
He made it look like Roger had hit a worse shot than he did, but he really must be in tune with his game, because that wasn't that bad a shot, but he knew it was long. Sitting down a little, it's sort of like a different cut than the...
Over to 15.
Par 4. Furyk for par to stay even. Now the 26-year-old Arizonan, Jim Furyk, stays within 4.
13T, Tom Lehman. Bogeyed 2 of the last 3 holes.
It's also a 7-iron. He's got this ball right of the flag, well right, trying to draw back.
That's a tricky spot for Lehman, who's lost 2 shots in the last 3 holes. Steve Jones, leader by 2.
Only 8 groups remain to finish in this U.S. Open Championship. Tom Lehman started with the lead, but Steve Jones has passed him by 2. Davis Love III, he with Lehman 2 off the pace as we pick up the action at 14.
Davis Love for what would be only the 4th birdie at 14. He just really wasn't sure how much that would break. It was a little downhill. And back at 13, Tom Lehman first to play, Roger.
He is, and his ball has come to rest up against the collar of rough behind the green. Pretty tough for this kind of a downhill, very fast putt. You know, when you get up against that collar, Johnny, it makes it hard to get that ball coming out the right speed sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you give it a little extra at the last second, I've noticed on that. And you can see it's sitting down, which will make it pop out of there. If he hits down, it'll pop out with overspin. He could putt it with a sand wedge, couldn't he?
He could. That's an option. Certainly to plate it with the sand wedge. Might even be a little better play, actually, but he seems comfortable with the putter. But I think this is going to be very hard to control speed-wise.
How big a break?
Oh, it goes to his left pretty good. We'll have to hit this putt high up on the right side.
Looks pretty good, Roger.
That's really a very, very good effort from there. It really is.
Watch it pop out of this hole here when he hits it. Nice level stroke. See how low that stroke is coming in? Look at that. You can almost double hit that if you don't watch out.
To 15T.
Davis Love. A lot of club off this hole.
Yeah, he's taken a 3-wood, Johnny, and he's turned it around the corner. This is very aggressive.
I think he might want to win here.
Back to 13. Steve Jones's turn.
Leading a sand wedge. Look at Gardner made it. He's enjoying himself. Look at this, very good shot there. Just blades it perfectly. And again, you got to be careful on those. If you accelerate, you can double hit them.
It's been 20 years since a sectional qualifier won a U.S. Open. Jerry Pate, the last to pull it off back in Atlanta in 1976. Two-shot lead, but Tester coming back for par.
Yeah, it's getting about that time when this length putt, just let me tell you, it's hard to make a smooth stroke. Let's put it that way, huh, Raj?
Sweaty Palm City right here.
I mean, you get where there's so much adrenaline and your awareness is amazing, and you're asking yourself, can I make this putt that I've been practicing all these years to win a national championship? And everything's a question mark. You see how quick that little stroke is, but that's a good stroke for short putts. Just gets the job done. No, I guarantee he hasn't missed the hole by an inch on a putt that long all week.
That is his very first bogey of this final round. Jones falls back to 3 under. And right now the lead has been trimmed to 1.
You just get prepared from here on in, Roger, where pars are wonderful, aren't they?
Each and every one, it will have real meaning.
This is where Nicklaus knew the value of a par in a major championship in the last hour of play.
This would be a good par to get Lehman back on track. Can't afford to really bogey 3 out of 4 holes just for par.
Well, that's not an easy little putt either. He'll be moving to his right.
He hits them very firm, these putts.
Nice par save for Lehman. He remains at 2 under, but Jones comes back to the field with his bogey at 13. As they head to the first of 5 tough holes at Oakland Hills Country Club. Jones with a 1-shot lead. Love playing 15. Jones and Lehman heading to the long par 4 at 14. Some other scores for you in this final round of the 96 U.S. Open. Faldo couldn't get it going, bidding to continue a possible Grand Slam bid, but not this time. Payne Stewart had the lead through 2 rounds. Send you to 16.
Jim Furyk, second shot to 16. Even par, he's still got an outside shot. And a very nice shot into the 16th. Very makeable putt from the front of about 15 feet. Let's go back to 14.
Here it is, the 14th, 471 yards. Lehman has parted each of the first 3 rounds. And it is a slight dog leg to the right, so a cut shot can come in handy here if you have it.
Setting up left for sort of a line drive, little fade.
That's just what he's done, John. Not cutting a lot, but certainly in the left side of the fairway.
And Roger, you were talking earlier about this hole doesn't set up that great for Steve Jones.
Well, it doesn't. Steve likes to play a big right to left shot, and this is an awkward angle for him to hit at.
Meanwhile, 3rd shot for John Morse up on the green at 14. That's a beautiful play. Morse has that one left to remain at 1 under. Back to the tee.
Started this ball well right, trying to draw it back. At the trees at the right side, needs to get lucky.
Went through the tree, Roger, but it's in some pretty heavy rough. It didn't get where the gallery's walking.
15.
Second shot for Davis Love III. Trails by only 1.
Well, Dick, after a very
Right a little. Yeah, right to left can help.
After a very aggressive tee shot, Davis left with a second of only 132 yards. You heard his brother Mark say the wind's helping, and from right to left, pitching wedge.
Hole location's way back left. Tough to get to that pin. Smart shot. It's going to be about an 8, 9, 10 footer straight uphill.
Love 9-10 feet away from a birdie putt that would move him into share the lead with Steve Jones as we build to a climax, the championship for the 96th U.S. Open.
Par attempt for Frank Nobilo at 14. This long par 4 beginning to take its toll to 16.
Young Jim Furyk, 2-time winner on the PGA Tour. This to go 100 for the championship. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Oh, it slips in. All right, Jimmy. 2 under for today's round. 1 under for the championship. And let's go back to 14.
There is the hole location, front right edge. Jones with a lead, 1 shot over Love and Lehman. Furyk now in the mix very much, with 2 holes left at 1 under, tied with Morse, who picked up his par at on this hole at 14. Roger Yardage.
190 for Tom Lehman. Has the great angle from the left side of the fairway, but has such a penetrating ball flight. Doesn't hit it real high. I don't know that he can really shoot back into this right corner of the green, which runs away from the player.
That's another one of the tough distinguishing features of 14 is the green that moves away from the fairway. And the deep valley that cuts through the middle.
Going with a hard 6-iron here. He's got it just left of the hole.
And that will collect into that valley. Haven't seen one putt made from down in the valley all day.
Well, Steve Jones would love to get his ball over there, Dan. He's got a bird's nest lie over here from 186. He has no opportunity to play at the right side of the screen. He'll try to trundle something on into that valley and be very happy if he gets it there.
Grunting that one out. And it'll be short.
And that will be a very hard pitch from there.
Not a lot of green to work with, and it does move away. 15.
Up on the 15th green, Davis Love III, a birdie opportunity to go 3 under, tie Steve Jones.
Very makeable putt, only 10 feet. Should turn slightly from his right to left. Bug flew right onto his ball. So he'll regroup, go back through his routine.
Davis Love III. One of the big emotional stories of this U.S. Open Championship, playing on Father's Day. His dad taught him the game. Is now tied for the lead.
And he's 1 under through the first 2 holes of the fearsome fivesome. So off to a good start there. Keep
Davis
it going.
Love the third is -3. Maybe that's his lucky number, 3. Meanwhile, up at 17.
Jim Furyk, 202 yards. 1 under par and just 2 shots back. Oh, it just didn't catch that slope and work left. It worked straight back. This green getting very firm.
Couldn't hit it there if I tried.
Up to
Still
the finishing hole.
18.
18. 82 champion Tom Watson. Tom is 3 over for the championship, 1 over today.
Well, you can take a look at the 16th hole right here. It's this hole with the lake, obviously, and what you want to do is fit a 3-wood, probably maybe Davis a long iron right into that area there. You got to hit the fairway almost, lets you get lucky, and from there now you have to cross the lake, and so it's a very much of a pressure hole right here.
Third shot, Steve Jones to 14. Roger, how good was that?
Beautifully played. That is fabulous from there.
And back to 16.
Where Davis Love now in with a share of the lead, and this with an iron.
Huge shot on Dave, this one here.
Well, as you say, you just got to put the ball in the fairway. Otherwise, you flirt with any number.
See if you can make that level swing and not that down move.
Ball's going down the right side. It needs to turn if it's going to catch the fairway.
Well, they got a pretty hard hop, it looked like, Gary. And of course, looking down here, it looks good, as it always does from up above. But here's where your strength might help you and then might work against you, too. Might try to get a little greedy. Let's go back to 14.
And Tom Lehman from that valley we talked about.
Dan, what have most people been doing from there?
Well, they've been leaving it short, and the ball will drift to the right at the end. It's a tough putt to gauge coming up that valley, Johnny, as you take a look at this 3D graphic. There it is from the front.
Well, what Ross did is he let the green just go with the fall of the land, which means the green is going away from you, and then he put this big collection drainage area right through the center that's sort of serpentine, and so you can see the ball just doesn't want to stop on the green. It's a lot like the first hole at Oakmont. Hit that hard enough.
That is a beautiful putt. Lehman didn't allow it to be dragged right. He'll have that to save par and to remain a shot back of Love and Jones.
The 16th hole, what a turning point it's been this week. Tiger Woods playing very well in the first round. I think he was 1 under at this point. This with a 6-iron into this hole. Catches the bank, goes in the water. Has to take a drop. The 2-time amateur champion. Now, Greg Norman, he went on to make 8. Greg Norman, 8-iron, 140 yards. This in the second round. Backs it up right in the hole and shoots 66, the low round of the day. Gets to 1 under for the championship. We've seen everything from 2 to 8s here. Ernie Els, this yesterday. Ernie at one time was leading. Just sounded as though it caught the tree. Bounces in the fairway but goes down into the hazard from where Ernie made a 6. Coming out live, that's Davis Love's lie in the rough. Gary Koch has been there. Gary, what's he got?
Well, Dave, I've got to tell you, it's probably the best lie that I've seen in the rough the whole week.
Yep. Right just inside his ball. Okay.
Well, what a time to get it, of course, and 3 under.
He's got 126 yards, 113 to carry to the front edge, taking a pitching wedge.
He's got a lot of room there, too, Gary.
It's coming out a little left of the hole toward the center of the green.
He got a good kick, and then a hard kick just in the back fringe, but that's all right. It kicked dead right when it hit. I thought it was going to check up, but coming out of the rough, it didn't. You won't have too hard a pitch from there if that's any kind of lie. So, Davis Love, and this would mean so much to him. But just ahead of that, at 17, the par 3, Jim Furyk. This is his second shot. Hit the hole. Only chance he had was to hit the flagstick there because it's just not going to straight downhill from where he was. This is a very hard hole, even though it's playing a little easier today. Jim 1 under, 2 under for the round today. Coming into there, as you look down, that bunker you see right in the middle of the 15th fairway. And let's go to 18.
Where the 46-year-old Tom Watson for par.
Hit a good putt, just didn't break.
72 for Watson, +4 for the championship.
It's good playing.
Now to 17.
Jim Furyk just for a 3 to stay 1 under. Hit it, Jim. Well, all right, go ahead. That drop him back to even par as Davis Love and Colin Montgomery come up to the green at 16. Huge cheer for Davis here. Colin now 2 over for his round, 1 over for today. Davis, of course, the story in this group. Gonna look this over. Hard thing to do now, keep your mind on the golf till you can get in. Keep your mind on what you have to do, because there's a lot of things running through a young man's mind. If you were with us early in the show when he was talking about his father.
What club do you think he'll hit, Dave?
Well, what kind of lie? Gary, did you get a look at that lie?
Dave, I did get a chance to look at it. The ball is sitting very nicely. I think he could do any number of things. He could take a little 9-iron or pitching wedge and just kind of bump the ball and just carry it on the green, let it run to the hole. I think he could actually putt the ball if he wanted to.
It's a really lush lie, Gary. It's almost a little into the green, and I guess he can get to it, but almost impossible to leave it short if he gets it on the green without chunking it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the beautiful part of it. I mean, he's just got to move it forward, and it should come right down toward the hole.
Well, the problem's not going to be getting it to the hole, I don't think. He can almost miss this, and it's going to roll down to the hole.
You can see that grass is definitely leaning into him.
Very similar shot to the one he played back on the 6th hole when he was just off the green. He took a 9-iron, almost made like a putting stroke. Got the ball on the ground very quickly and just ran it down toward the hole.
Well, I think that's about what he's going to try here. Left edge, they're lining up the whole thing. It's the kind of shot, it looks to me, even if you did stub it just a little, it's still going to run down within 2-3 feet.
He's going to blade it.
That's what he did. Hold it. Now that one, I wasn't sure he was going to try to play like that. There's one that could have gotten away from him, and still, he's got a little work to be completed.
You could tell by his practice strokes that he was going to blade it.
That surprised me, John, I'll tell you. Steve Jones back at 15 waiting. Roger?
Well, the players here are waiting for the play at the 15th green. Tom Lehman made the cautious play but got through the fairway and has come up in the rough just in front of the fairway bunker. Steve Jones made the aggressive play, hit a terrific drive up the left side, only has 113 yards to the hole.
Montgomery, this for a birdie. Now, once again, denied. 18 birdies at this hole today. Colin, 1 over par for his round. Outstanding ball hitting in this tournament going into the day, as you saw earlier, leading and driving in the fairway and greens hit. But the story right now, Davis Love. It's his brother Mark, and you're telling him what he thinks. And just don't get this out of the hole, Davis. Just hit it inside the right edge of the hole, solid. Nice 4 and still tied for the lead. Davis Love the third going to the par 3 17th. Ooh, you're glad to get that hole out of the way. That thing is so dangerous, especially if you drive in the rough. But Davis caught a line when he really needed one. You got to keep your mind on trying to win, not starting to make up any speeches or anything. Let's go back to 15 now.
Moments ago, John Moore's second shot at 15. One under for the championship, 2 behind the leaders. And a birdie chance for Morse. And now Live trying to convert. Move within 1, move up into a tie with Tom Lehman behind Love and Jones.
This man must be a competitor. What a heroic performance he's putting on.
Johnny hit a beautiful 8-iron in there from 149 yards, but he's had to wait here about 5 minutes by Frank. Got a ruling behind the green.
Michigander John Morse, who has won only 1 tour title in his career, is only 1 shot off the lead in the U.S. Open. To 17.
The par 3, 202 today, and I think they caught a little bit of a break, Gary. You know, they're a little bit behind, it seems to me, and so they're not waiting. The players ahead of them have been waiting every group, but they just walk right up now and not ruin their speed of play.
Well, you're absolutely right, Dave, and Davis has taken plenty of time here, too, trying to decide on club selection. Davis and his brother Mark have discussed the wind direction, which is helping him left to right. Can't help but think a lot of this is experience that he's gained from his good performance at the Open last year and at the Masters. Taking his time, just doing it 1 shot at a time.
I'm told this is a 5-iron.
Well, I would think he'd want to just shoot it right into the center of the green.
One time, kid!
Oh, he's lost it right. He's lost it way right. It'll catch the green, but it is going to be on the wrong side of the slope.
Oh, man. That is really tough.
Yep. I don't know whether something distracted Davis there, or some cameras or something, but that was a full flinch.
Dave, that was that same move he made off the first tee, and he's made so many times where he sort of makes that dive down with the right shoulder and leaves the face open.
Yeah.
Squeezes it right.
Well, let's go to 15 and Jones.
Second shot for Steve Jones.
After a perfect tee shot, 113. This is sand wedge, just a full hard sand wedge. Needs it to get up a little.
Right in between clubs, huh, Raj?
Yeah, he was kind of handcuffed there. Johnny pitching wedge would have been just too much.
Earlier here at 15. Second shot for Tom Lehman.
He's trying to lay off the tee short of that bunker, which is 244, and had to come out of that long grass. Pretty good shot.
With just a handful of holes left, Davis Love the third and Steve Jones share the lead. Morse and Lehman 1 back. Only 4 of the 54 groups yet to finish in the clubhouse. B.J. Singh, a 69, Scott Hook, a 67, Ken Green, 70 plus 2 are the leaders. Tom Lehman.
Well, it's a little pitch and run with a 9-iron pitching wedge, and got good pace on this shot right here. Very nice. Tough to get the right line. There's a lot of humps and bumps.
17.
17, Davis Love. Now he has a very tough shot here, it looks like to me, Gary Koch.
Well, you would be right, Dave Marr. It is very tough. Davis has taken his L wedge, and it appears to me he's going to try to lob the ball up in the air and try to land it right at the top of the crest, or maybe just short of the hogback that cuts through the middle of the green, and have it hopefully just trickle down to the hole. But
we saw the same shot by Furyk and didn't turn out too good for him, made bogey.
Well, you don't want to hit the downslope. I mean, he's got to take it in. You can see the ridge of slope that he has to go over. He's got to land right on the high part of that.
Toughest pitch shot in golf.
Well, that's as soft and as high as I believe you could hit it, and still it's going to go right about where Jim Furyk went moments ago. Just that side of the green. got to be on the correct side of that slope in the middle of this green at 17. Seems like to me any kind of hook to the left or anything would be a lot better than block to the right. While back at 15,
Steve Jones.
Oh, what a great putt.
Now to 18, Jim Furyk.
Drove it in the bunker off the tee. Goes with the wood into the screen. What a great drive, but boy, he's left himself one tough pitch shot there over the big hog's back.
Back to 15, Tom Lehman.
It's 2 under, just one behind Jones and Love.
Will duck in score for Ernie Els. He finished with a 70 today. He's +1. He's now the leader in the clubhouse. Champion 2 years ago. Now to 16.
Second shot, John Morris. Now I'm sure he's just playing out to the left here because that lies down. He's going to go across the first part of water. Yeah, that's all he could try to do. He could not, with the position he's in, try to force that shot. Go to 18.
And the third shot for Jim Furyk. Even par for the championship.
That is a fantastic shot he just hit right there. I'm telling you, that is really good out of that long rough to get a nice uphill putt inside of 7 feet.
That would be some 4 if he can make it.
While at 17, Davis Love. This for his par. Gary, did you get a chance to have a look at the break here?
Well, it's very difficult for me to get that close to it. There's a lot of people around this green. All I can tell from here is it's downhill.
Now, most of the people here have missed this to the right.
Well, the appearance from my angle is that the back part of the green actually rolls away from you, so you would think that the ball wouldn't move right, but...
Did you hit it? Did you hit it? Well, right on line, right in the throat, if he'd hit it. So Davis Love. Steve Jones alone in the lead now at 300. Davis, along with John Morris and Tom Lehman. Well, back at 16, John Morris's third shot. Oh, what a wonderful shot. Got a lot of spin on that ball, and even though it hit on the downslope, what a tournament this man's having. Won one time on the tour, the Hawaiian Open, one on the Nike Tour. He's won around the world. I mean, this is an outstanding performance. First time he's made a cut in a major tournament. If we go back, and another story. This man out of golf for 3 years, tournament golf, Steve Jones. This is terrific.
Good looking shot up the right side, drawing back. Beautifully placed, right center of the fairway.
Just like you dreamed you'd do it, huh, Raj? Let's go forward to 18. After that great pitch shot, nice little side hiller uphill. Hit it, Jim. Had a shot at the magical even par for 280. Leaves it short.
University of Arizona, All-America, finishes 70. Look at those scores, a model of consistency. Colin Montgomery off the tee, and as he drove the ball, a fan in the gallery shouting, and that disturbed Monty, that's for certain.
And that ball just went underground. That wasn't very nice.
Gary?
Well, there was definitely a lot of noise right as he made contact with the ball, and his head whipped around in a hurry. He's already been disturbed by a cameraman clicking back on the 15th green.
3-wood, Gary?
Yeah, he's taking a 3-wood. That's certainly the shot to the widest part of the fairway as long as Davis hits it. But it also means that he's not going to be able to carry the bunkers down the right-hand side should he hit it a little right.
Downwind a little bit. He can carry, I think, that right bunker, though.
Well, he has absolutely hit it perfectly down the right center, drawing a little bit. The only thing is it may be too long.
Stop ball. It's in the intermediate cut, which is not bad with this right hole location. Clutch shot by Davis Love.
Toughest hole of a course that's earned its moniker Monster. Davis Love III, North Carolina, gave Michael Jordan his first set of golf clubs, and we all know his love affair with this sport, and you'll have a chance to see if Michael Jordan smiles tonight as the Bulls try to close it out. The Sonics want to stretch it to 7. Tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, Game 6, NBA Finals, the Sonics and the Bulls. Out of 16.
John Morris, one shot back, but has this putt at 16 to stay within the one shot. About maybe 4.5 feet.
Dave, what a great round of golf this guy's playing, and a smart round of golf. I mean, you couldn't have played it over here. You know, he probably could have moved that ball up the fairway a little bit further, but he just took what he could get. He's got this 4.5, 5-footer coming down the hill for a par. What a great par this would be.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's played like he's been in this spot before, which is unusual when you're, you know, it's so important in the business that you're in. This ball, when and if it moves, will move a little to his right, but just about the left edge, solid. Get away. Oh, John, after hitting a good shot, take your time. It is not over by any means. Well, so Morris drops a shot at 16, goes to 1 under, falls back to 4th, all alone. Around the fairway, Steve Jones waiting to play. Frank Nobilo has to put out. Frank, little problem at 15, double bogey there to go 2 over for the championship. This putt for a bogey 5. So they'll drop another shot here. So Nobilo goes to 3 over, but still continues his good play in the U.S. Open, where he's finished in 2 prior to this, finished once 10th, once 9th. Faltering here a little bit at the end for the popular New Zealander. Steve Jones. Roger Maltby, you're right there, pal.
Got 158 yards to the hole, David. The wind is coming from his right and helping slightly with his right to left shot shape. I would think he might be looking at that slope to the left of the hole to help bring it back. I would not look for this ball to be much right of the hole.
Just hit a marvelous shot there and almost got to that hump, but he's got a very makeable putt there, Roger. Let's go to 18.
Where Davis Love III, sizing up his approach into 18. Monty is already laid up, and Love, what do you see there?
Yeah, just to stop, put it to the left of the flag. And
Gary?
Dick, he's got 177 yards to the front edge, 186 yards to the hole. Looks like it could be a little bit of a flyer lie. He's taking a 6-iron.
Tough to get the right distance on with that lie.
Yeah, I think it will be, John. And if anything, I would imagine he'd want to be short.
Definitely.
Well, he's hit it well. He's hit it very well. It's going right at the flag if it's far enough.
chance for birdie for Davis Love III as he walks toward 18. Reminded of in the piece you saw earlier regarding his close relationship with his father, his best friend as he described him, and his dad leaving his musings, his writings for his son to read long after his death. And the one that struck me most, follow your dreams and enjoy the trip. He has a chance to meet his dream at 18. Meanwhile, Tom Lehman.
Second shot. Looks good in the air. A little right of the hole. Spins back. Lehman just the one stroke back. I can't tell who's away between those two, but let's go to 18.
And the gallery building around 18 acknowledges Davis Love III. This is his 33rd major championship in quest of his first major title.
And Colin Montgomery has had to lay it up just short of that bunker that's about 60 yards short of the green. Gary?
Johnny's got a shot of 72 yards to the hole. Ever since the 13th hole, he just has not quite been the same, very understandably.
Yeah, that double bogey from the edge was devastating to him. 2 over for the championship.
About the same distance from the hole as Love. Well, this is the putt of his career coming up, Davis Love III. It would push him up into co-leadership with Steve Jones, with Jones having the pressure of the final 2 holes to complete his round.
Well, he's put himself in a position to birdie the hardest hole on the golf course with that good drive and excellent second shot. And Gary, maybe you can sneak up behind that thing and take a look at it.
Well, I'll give it my best effort here, John. There are a lot of people around. Give me a chance.
Meanwhile, let's go to 16.
Where after stepping it off, it's been decided that Steve Jones will be the first to putt. Now the tournament leader.
Certainly has the harder putt of the 2 here. This putt will move to his right all the way. Actually back uphill slightly from this angle. So speed's not a real problem, but it will move to the right, certainly as it loses speed.
Hit a great putt on the last hole, Roger.
He's a great putter. He's got a beautiful stroke.
Did he hit it? Ooh, that could have been a 2-shot lead. That was well right of the hole. Yeah. Well, still, at this point, 1 stroke in the lead, but Lehman still to putt. Let's go to 18.
Where Colin Montgomery has already finished bogey and a 72 today, +3 for the championship.
Well, Gary, he's got the kind of putt that should feed right in there if he can pick the right line. If you were hitting this, where would you play it?
Well, I'd have to get the ball out to the right of the hole a little bit. It looks like it wants to turn to the left as it goes down through the middle of the putt. And John, I would agree with you. This, to me, is the type of putt that you can make because it's not a matter of hitting it hard enough. It's just a matter of getting it started rolling on the right line.
I got little goosebumps right now, and this is quite a moment right here. Of course.
Oh, and Tom Lehman got cold robbed here at 16. Well, that's as well as you could hit a putt. Still a shot short. Let's go to 18 and Davis Love.
And Gary, he just picked out a spot that's out there about 6 inches right of the hole that he might want to aim at. He's asking his brother, wife Robin. Got a feeling this one might go in.
Still a testy 2.5 footer for his par.
Dick hits every bit of 2.5. It's probably 3, maybe even a little bit more than 3 feet.
Just didn't get it off the putter, huh, Gary? Just took it back.
Well, it just looked like a little, yeah, it did. It looked like a little bit of a tentative stroke, John, which I guess in the circumstances probably not hard to imagine that's possible. And certainly don't want to rip it 5 or 6 feet by.
His brother Mark, this strong relationship bonded by the death of the father, and they're living it together.
He's got an excellent chance to make a playoff if he can make this putt. That's nail-biting time for sure.
Robin's the official bird of the state of Michigan. Maybe that's an omen. So 18 punishes another. Bogey for Davis Love III. .69 for Love today.
He did the same thing on the first putt that he did to the second putt. He took a big long backstroke and then came down and just slowed down, and the hill just grabbed it. He didn't put any zip on it. It could have gone in. I mean, you're only talking about a 64th of an inch or something. Tough break.
Yeah. Now we go to 17 and the final group. The leader, Steve Jones, at 3 under. Tom Lehman, 2 under.
Well, that bogey, Dave Marr, almost put the destiny of this championship in this group's hands.
Right here.
It's a nice solid shot. Just take it right at it.
Lehman's thinking aggressively. It wouldn't surprise me if he knocked it close. Just don't want to go long, huh, Dave?
That's right, and I think he's got the right club too, John. He's got a 6. The guys that have gone over, like Norman did with that 5-iron, because this green has gotten very firm.
Just in case you want to know, Lehman's 2 under, Jones 3 under, Love 1 under.
Oh, this is a good-looking shot.
Get close. Boy, that hit real hard. He's going to be very disappointed when he sees where that is. Just like Norman shot a while ago. Man.
He couldn't hit it any more solidly, Dave.
No. Now, Jones, I think, has a little bit of advantage. He definitely is a right-to-left player, right, Roger?
Correct. He
So
can use that slope on the right.
That's right, and not leave it over there where everybody's gotten their bogeys from.
Roger, do you think Steve Jones knows that Lehman's shot is long?
I think he could tell from the reaction. There wasn't any big reaction from the green. It looked like he holed it from here, so he knows it's not close. Oh, this is right to right. Going at the right bunker.
In the heavy, heavy stuff, guys.
Well, came up out of that.
Easily the worst shot he's hit today.
Yeah, he's really played very well. Johnny, why don't you take a look at this
Watch
swing?
this. He takes it back. He's taking it back to the inside here a little bit, and then he gets ahead of it. Look at that left elbow was way out at impact, and then he tries to make a pronation with the hands on the right shoulder, a la Gary Player or something. Was too late.
Well, Steve Jones, you see how he's played the hole. 2 bogeys so far, and he'll do well not to get a bogey here today. Let's go forward to 18.
And with the troubles of Jones, John Morris only 2 back off 18.
Tremendous shot right there.
Jones by 1 over Lehman, by 2, Love and Morse. The 96th U.S. Open champion will be crowned shortly.
Steve Jones, just looking at his shot there, he's taking a couple of practice swings, but he hasn't really gotten ready to play this particular shot yet. Now, Roger, did you get a chance to walk through that, by that?
I did, and it's in there so deep that the crowd had to help us locate the ball. You had to get right on top of it to see it, so it's a very gnarly lie. He's got the expansive green to work with. Fortunately, he is short enough that this large slope in the right, I think he can avoid it and still get it near the hole, but being able to control it from this lie, Dave, is guesswork at best.
Well, you talk about controlling it. Yesterday, that's where we saw Wayne Westner, by the way, hit a double chip like T.C. Chin did.
How big a break, Roger?
Well, this will swing quite a bit from his right to left, John, but, had his ball been another 5 feet forward from the tee, then he would have really had problems. So I'm going to say it's going to sweep left maybe 10, 12 feet.
It's a big ridge that sweeps down from that bunker. Hog's Back influences this green so much. It's a masterful job that Ross did building this separation between the right and left side.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Came on the left, but not too bad.
Yeah.
Pretty good distance control.
Got it down there where he can make it. Boy, if he should, that would be one of the great up and downs of his life. Let's go down to Gary Koch.
Thank you, Dave. Davis, I know you must be disappointed. You played very well all day long.
Well, yeah, you saw me the last 2 days. I played pretty solid and a few 3-putts here and there. You hate to do it on the last hole, but, hung on to that 5-iron a little bit at 17 and got it up there where I had no chance, and then hit a great shot out of the light rough at 18, and then I got tricked on the putts. When I hit the first one, I thought I was going to trickle all the way down there, and then the second one, I thought I would trickle in if I just started it, and, I just didn't hit them hard enough. I didn't want a 6-footer coming back, but I certainly didn't want a 3-putt either, but, I'll live with it no matter what happens.
All right, thanks, Davis, and hang around. There's a lot of golf left.
Thanks.
John Morse approached 18.
With 5-iron from 178 yards. On left a little bit.
See if it stays on the proper side. It's right on top of the Hog's Back, literally. 2 inches left, it had rolled left. A couple inches right, it had gone right.
Back to 17.
Tom Lehman now with this shot. Roger, this is really swift going down here.
This is a delicate little chip in, moving to his right. Just has to bump it out of here into the fringe and let it trickle down to the hole. Has a reasonable lie, however.
It's a little bit like Watson on the same hole at Pebble Beach, 71st hole, downhill.
Slow down, slow down. A very nice shot. That's just about where Norman put it a while ago. Well, a lot can change in just a few moments here at 17 green. Steve Jones should make that. It will be one of the biggest putts this man's ever made. Lehman asking for an official. I'm not sure why.
I believe Tom is saying as he marked the ball, it moved.
You didn't touch the ball, okay? Oh, that's all right. Mark down behind the ball. I didn't touch the ball with the mark, but the ball was yeah, he hadn't placed it yet, so let's go with it. Yeah.
A little disconcerting for Steve Jones, don't you think, Roger?
Absolutely. This is not something he wants to deal with at this point in time. He'd love to be able to get into his routine and hit this putt.
He's got the biggest clutch putt of his life.
Do you want to lift it again? Right now? Yeah. I mean, do you want to lift it? Yeah, I do. I'm going to mark it.
Well, it's marked it. think what happened was when he went down there to try to mark it, the ball moved a little bit, but before he put the mark down. So there's no penalty, just mark it where it comes to rest.
That's exactly right, Dave.
All right, Steve Jones. Got any idea on this putt, Roger?
I really don't. It looks like it might go a little right. I'm nervous watching him.
If he hits it solid, straight.
Go in! Go in!
Looked like that ball about 2 feet off the putter, just maybe caught a little something and got it started left because it hasn't been moving that much. Oh boy, so Steve. David Fay has some information for us from 18. David?
Well, what happened was that the ball moved, but it was determined that the movement was directly attributable to the act of marking the ball. There's no penalty.
Okay, we got that cleared up. Now, this with Jones dropping that shot to go to 2 under. Lehman now with this putt to stay tied for the lead at 2 under. Good solid putt there, and what a great up and down by Tom Lehman. So we're tied going to the last hole. This will certainly test both of these golfers. Look at that. Huh? Big old tough guy like Tom, yeah. He's a soft talking guy, but he is really a hard player and a nice man, as is Steve Jones. So who can play 18, guys? Sudden death.
Hardest hole on the golf course coming up. And with the pressure on, pars are like birdies.
Jones has played 18 better than Lehman in the championship. Par, birdie for Jones. Lehman, bogey, bogey, par.
And now that 3-putt by Davis Love when he was 2 under, maybe looking at 3 under, really looms large. He still has an outside shot. These guys, both of them, could bogey this hole in a heartbeat if they don't hit the fairway. Tees up just a little bit. It's about 265-yard carry over the right bunker. This is a reversed banked dogleg right, which makes it very difficult. 29 yards wide, the fairway. Take a look at this right here. The fairway is going left and the hole is moving right. It's very difficult. If the fairway was not so soft this week, it'd be even darn near impossible to hit this fairway unless you cut the ball. But you do have to feed it in there. The bunkers are in play. They're grabbing shots everywhere, and you're better off in the bunker than in the primary cut of the rough.
Meanwhile, up on the green, John Morris. This is for birdie to go 2 under and move into a tie with Jones and Lehman for the lead.
If this putt were to go in, he might win it outright.
Johnny, he and his caddy both look squarely at the leaderboard on the right side, but they haven't posted Steve Jones's bogey on 17 yet. So he's not sure that this is a tie.
Shoots right off this hog's back, huh, Dan?
Yeah, this is just speed. He's got to hit it so soft, he's got to play a little more break.
Scooped it. That's the normal thing to do under pressure. You take it back and then you freeze up and hit it with your hands.
Out of the tee and Tom Lehman.
Going with the driver.
Big time unlucky. Oh, is that a bad break? Just in the corner, I think, of that bunker. I can't tell. Thought he hit a great shot.
Davis Love III awaits his fate.
Replaying that last series of putts over and over. Ball's in the bunker in the corner, which is not good. say first one in the fairway wins. That's called clutch right there. What a great shot. A guy hitting a right to left shot on a slice drive and putting it in the fairway.
Tom Lehman thought he had made the right play, but too long and into the bunker. Jones in the fairway. Love hoping for a chance at a playoff tomorrow.
Oh man, gut-wrenching. You can see that hole looking down. Beautiful shot from the blimp. That's the 18th hole, moving right. You see that bunker that's sitting right here. Lehman's ball's in there. Jones is sitting about right in there. And they both got pretty long uphill second shots to heavily guarded green with bunkers and long grass.
Meanwhile, up on the green, John Morse, this for his par. So like Davis Love the third, 18.
It looked like he went to take it back and nothing moved, and then he finally moved it and pushed it right. That's too bad, but that'll just show you what pressure will do. He held in there strongly, didn't choke it all tee to green, and his putter left him down at the end.
Two of the last three holes bogeys for Morris, just as Love bogeys 17 and 18. Now it's up to Lehman and Jones. Can one win the championship today, or will they play 18 tomorrow? .64 is Jones. Andy North, the last champion here at Oakland Hills, 6 feet 4 inches when he won 11 years ago. The tallest champion of the U.S.
Both these guys 37, both of them live in Phoenix.
One from Minnesota, Lehman, the other from Colorado, Yuma, Colorado. Jones.
Steve Jones won 4 times on the tour. Lehman just 2 times, but at Memorial and Colonial, tough courses. Lehman has the edge on experience with the Ryder Cup experience.
Roger?
Well, Tom Lehman has caught the fairway bunker and has got to get this ball up very quickly. It is on a bit of an upslope, but he has a lip in front of him no more than 4 feet in front of the ball. And he's got about 170 yards to the front of this green, John, and he's going to have to get something up very quickly, and that's a long way to carry the ball on the angle he's going to have to hit it.
Yeah, and sometimes in these kinds of situations, you try to fit a round peg in a square hole. You know, you think, well, I've got to knock it on. And maybe the best play is to put it underneath that green there for a nice little pitch up and a 1-putt and see if Jones has got the right stuff to make par. You don't want to hit the lip and leave it in the bunker or just take yourself out of the ball game if you don't have that shot. If he has it, fine. Go for it.
Well, what he has going in his favor are 2 things: his strength and the fact that he's got an uphill lie, because it's nothing but strength to horse this ball up in the air and carry it that far.
He's saying that's a big lip. Andy Martinez, his caddy, saying, why don't you hit about an 8-iron out? That puts you just short. I think that's the play, Roger. I don't know about you. Don't take yourself out of the tournament.
I agree with you, John. I think the prudent play here is to put it down in front of the green and hope for the best. To try to get this ball on the green from here could potentially be, you know, a game ender.
I'm telling you, I was down there this morning. I was looking at all the different scenarios. He leaves it about 20, 30, 40 yards short of the green. He'll average inside of 6 feet from there. It's not a hard pitch shot. It's like a collection area right where the hole is. He can make par if he just puts it in front of the green. He's got to know that Jones is probably not going to birdie with the pressure, so he's got to think par right now. Sweaty palms time. Did you hear anything there, Roger, when the exchange between Andy Martinez and Tom?
Well, he's got a 7-iron, John, and I can't imagine being able to carry it this far. He's got to be trying to get this ball in front of the green. If he gets it, carries it to the green, this is superhuman from here.
Well, he's strong. Says he can't get it there with this club. Just can't do it. He can feel it. Uphill lies take a lot of your strength. It saps your strength.
You want that short flip front there? All right, take your time.
And that lip is about 5 inches high right there. It'll just gobble it up. If he hits it thin, it'll come right back at his feet.
He's hit it straight up in the air, John, but this is going to be well short.
Well, let's take a look at his swing on this shot, see how he entered into the sand. Yeah, just a little bit maybe heavy, and the ball went up, which is prudent. And Roger?
159 front, 168 hole. This is 7-iron, just hit it hard.
How's it look?
He's got it started right of the hole, turning back. Johnny, this looks good.
What a shot! Missed the flag stick by inches, and Steve Jones in position for a championship.
Steve Jones, what a shot! And Davis knows that he's not going to 3-putt from there. Got it just straight downhill, and now he's been loose all day, Roger. He smiled right from the get-go. He's tried to talk a lot. Steve Jones has had a great attitude about this whole thing today.
Well, he's been beautifully composed, Johnny, and he's done just about everything you could ask a player to do. He's hit it on most of the fairways and greens. He just played masterful golf.
He told us yesterday for 3 years he was home watching the U.S. Open on television, wondering if he'd ever be able to play again after that bike injury in '91. His last victory 6 years ago, the Canadian Open, and here he is, a putt or maybe even 2 putts from the U.S. Open Championship.
Well, let's not forget about Tom Lehman. He's got just a nice lob wedge in there. He can knock it in tight and get in the playoff. If Jones does not make this very makeable downhill putt, by the way. So we've still got a lot of golf to be played. You watch this shot, probably came within 3 inches on that first hop to going in the hole. Just watch this. It's drawing in there. Watch this first hop. I mean, that was close right there. It have made Corey Pavins look like just a ho-hum shot. Yeah, you got to give him credit. He loved it.
Now Lehman will try to find the right stuff.
Roger, you were close by?
Well, this is a pitch from about 60 yards, John, just straight up into the green. Just take his lob wedge and try to throw it up in front of the hole and get it to stop as quick as he can. That's just hope against hope.
Tom Lehman's wife watching.
He's going to give Steve Jones the line. Ball's going to go over his line within 4 inches of his mark, Steve Jones' mark, and show him just the pace and the line. Just something that Davis Love would like to have had. one of the hardest shots in golf is heavy pressure and an interpretive type of 60-yard wedge shot where you have to feel it in there.
But if he should knock it in, Johnny, he'll shrink the hole too for Jones.
In a way, it's not a bad deal for him. If he'd have knocked it 4 feet, maybe Jones would have run it in there. But if he can run it in first, that hole will probably shrink up. Roger, any thoughts?
Well, obviously for Tom, his only hope is to hold this putt. And, you know, I really got the feeling back at 12, he really got a bad break, hit a great second shot there. And those just aren't the kinds of things you need when you're trying to win an Open or any major championship. And then when he hit the great putt at 16 and it came out of the hole there, or lipped on the high side, it reminded me of Augusta a couple of years ago when he hit a great putt on 15 that you just can't imagine hit any better, and it didn't go in.
Yeah, that eagle putt back then, but this is a whole new ball game. Can you see this? It comes, the influence of the Hogsback will affect this putt. It'll throw it to the left, but maybe as Davis Love found out, it's not as quick as they think.
Wife, Bonnie, children. Oh no, that's Melissa. Melissa Lehman. Jones' wife Bonnie also in the circle around 18.
Well, regardless of what happened or what happens, we've seen some really good play through these tough last 5 finishing holes. These guys have sucked it up. They've hit good shots. They've thought well. And we'll see what Tom can do here. Throw it out to the right there, Tom, and it'll come back right off that ridge.
Well, he said, Johnny, he didn't want to play like a wimp today, and he certainly hasn't.
Body language says, I want to putt. Don't putt out.
His wife Bonnie, Cy, and Stacy, the family is here.
I mean, he's got it. She knows he's got it, and just shake it down there and let it dribble short about a foot and get out of Dodge.
What a way to spend Father's Day.
And he looks like he actually knows what's going on. Just want to throw it out there about 6 inches right of the hole. Try to picture something nice and smooth in your mind. And he won't take much time. You watch. And he won't move his feet. Once he takes that practice stroke, he'll just go in and hit it. Dead yet, as they say. Still got a little bit left, but good putt. Thought he had it.
Now Lehman for his par. .68 today.
Man.
Check that bogey for Lehman. Having to lay up out of that bunker.
Pretty straight putt, both of them here, Roger.
Just straight in from here, John, I gotta believe. If anything could be straight in at this point.
Makes this, he ties Davis Love the third for the runner-up spot, assuming Jones makes his.
shot the same score that was shot in 1985 by Andy North, who won.
And now for the championship. Stephen Glenn Jones from Yuma, Colorado. They battled through 18, and on the toughest hole, Jones wins the title.
How sweet it is.
Little Stacy comes out to hug Daddy. Cy.
That's the greatest trophies he'll ever have right there.
Big week for the fans in Colorado. They have the National Hockey League champions, and native son has won the United States Open Championship. Who knows better than those that love this guy, what he's gone through to come back and have the chance. And at 37, his dream is realized.
Davis Love, I feel really bad for him. Had a makeable birdie putt to go 3 under and win it outright. 3 putts.
Will return to Oakland Hills Country Club with a presentation of the '96 championship trophy. A week ago, not many would have thought Steve Jones would be national champion. Judy Bell, the president of the United States Golf Association.
Here's Steve. Here we go.
She's from Colorado Springs, so it is quite a day for that grand state.
I tell you, there's no feeling like it, Vic. The warm feeling you get inside you, knowing that you performed under pressure, hit that fantastic drive on 18, even better second shot on 18, a good putt, and you didn't back your way into it. You played like a champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the 1996 United States Open champion, Mr. Steve Jones.
Steve Jones joined such illustrious names. Hagen and Sarazen.
Holding this up so everybody can look at you and this wonderful cup.
And on
Be
that
careful that lid.
trophy, Bobby Jones, Ben Hogan, who won here in '51, Palmer and Trevino. Nicholas, his name is on there 4 times. Ray Floyd, Curtis Strange. Fellow Coloradan Hale Irwin won it 3 times. Corey Pavin a year ago. Here's Dan.
Well, Steve, congratulations. There was a time in your golf career where you weren't even sure if you'd ever play this game again after the injury to your ring finger. Did you ever think you'd be in this spot, especially after all of that?
Not in my wildest dreams, believe me. It's incredible.
Saw the emotion on your face when you grabbed that trophy. It was almost as if you couldn't still quite believe it.
I still can't, maybe by tomorrow, but first of all, I just thank the Lord Jesus Christ for changing my life, and I tell you, I couldn't have done it without God in my life. Last 24 hours, I was so nervous, my gut was just wrenching, and even with God on my side, I was still so nervous, but anyway, it was a great day. I couldn't ask for a better pairing with Tom Lehman, great guy. He got a bad break on the last hole with his drive kicked in the bunker, kind of loosened me up a little bit. But that 1-foot putt was probably the longest putt I've ever had to make in my life.
You were a sectional qualifier. and to win this Open Championship, become the first sectional qualifier in 20 years since Jerry Pate to win it. That's quite a feat itself.
Well, thank you very much.
And that is what the Open is all about.
Yeah, it's open to everybody that wants to try. Yeah, that was, I actually was in a playoff in the sectional to make it into this, so I was very thankful to be in the playoff.
3 rounds in the 60s on this course they've dubbed the Monster. That is some fabulous golf over 3 days, especially 4 days, especially after opening up with a 74.
Yeah, I didn't have any birdies the first day. I was just trying to be patient with my game. I hit the ball really well. But I do have to give some credit to Ben Hogan. I read the new book that was out called Hogan, and I tell you, he really inspired me. I finished it on Wednesday, and you know, he just showed me how little I practice. And I started practicing on Monday, and it really just helped me mentally. And he just said, you know, if you really want to win, you'll focus in on each shot and not worry about the outcome. That's what I did. I never looked at the board all day today. On the last hole, I asked my brother, I said, you know, what's the score? He told me we were tied with Tom. And so I knew I needed 2 putts to win at the end.
Congratulations, Steve. Ben Hogan, the champion in 51 here. You're the champion in 96. Dick, let's back up to you.
All right, Dan, that's a wonderful link to the 2 champions of 45 years. Ben Hogan, the man who brought the Monster to his knees with a 67 in the final round to win the 51 U.S. Open Championship, and his words inspiring Steve Jones, who wins in 1996. Well, next year we move to Congressional, and the tickets already, 35,000 were available here, and they were gone a month ago. There's your address, Post Office Box 1500, Far Hills, New Jersey, 07931. And so we bid adieu from Southeastern Michigan. Another sensational week for this sport. Tonight, NBA action continues at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific for Game 6 of the NBA Finals as Kemp and the Sonics face Jordan and the Bulls. For our entire broadcast crew at Oakland Hills, I'm Dick Enberg saying so long from the 96 U.S. Open. Happy Father's Day. Jones, U.S. Open champion.